Hello? Is someone there? Ah!
I'm afraid of change. Whether it's big or small, change can be a hard thing to stomach at times. And I know I'm not exactly making some groundbreaking revelation here, because we've all experienced monumental changes in our lives, like moving to a new town or losing something special to us, and these life-changing moments can be truly heartbreaking. But this isn't a somber video meant to remind you of the time Joe the pet goldfish died. I'm more interested in exploring one of the greatest fears I have, and maybe in some way it will help me overcome it. Probably not. Personally, I've always had a hard time changing even the smallest things in my life. I mean, I still have f***ing Bernie sandwiches on my phone, which I haven't touched since 2016, but I am not about to change the order of apps on my phone. Really, there are so many little traditions that I box myself into, from the clothes I wear, the food I eat, the YouTube channels I watch on Saturday morning specifically, and I feel like this all stems from the idea that at some time in my life, I enjoyed these things, so now I repeatedly do them for years on end because they made me happy once, so surely doing them over and over and over again is more likely to make me happy than trying something new. Clearly that's not true though, and I know that, as whenever I have gotten the courage to do something different, I usually have a great time. It's just that I feel so much more comfortable sticking to the things I already know, and even if that rare moment comes where I try something new and genuinely enjoy it, well then I'll just adopt it into the same old repetitive routine until that too begins to lose its appeal. Sometimes I wish I could just eternally live in one of those moments where I'm truly enjoying something for the very first time, but unfortunately that's not how it works. Yet. Ironically though, change is inevitable, meaning that maybe the one thing we can truly count on to never change is the fact that things will always change. And sure, there are times in my life where I see this as a bad thing. I mean, change is the reason why going to a new school was so hard for me, and the reason I still haven't gotten rid of this cringy shirt my mom bought me in 4th grade. But lately I've come to realize that the inevitability of change is just as good as it is bad, because it means that no matter how bad things are right now, they will get better. They have to, because change is coming and there's no way around it. So cheer the f*** up, loser. Of course, even if the change is positive, that doesn't make it any less scary. I mean, sometimes I feel terrified just to look in the mirror after a new haircut. And you can feel that fear even when you're excited about something. Like when I first went to college, I was genuinely excited to get out there and be independent and make new friends and all of that. But moving out and saying goodbye still sucks mega weenie. It's interesting that change isn't your typical fear that can jump scare you out of nowhere. Ah! It's usually something that you know is coming and have plenty of time to prepare for, yet somehow that doesn't make it any less scary. And I think some sort of fear of change, or at least a dislike of it, is pretty common today, even among the most trivial things. Like anytime a new movie or video game is released, you'll hear people screaming, "The first was better." Like, come on, there's over 100 Pokemon games now and you still like the one with Rattata. But that just goes to show that it's easy to feel this way. Once you get comfortable with something, it can be difficult to see any reason to change it. And even if these changes turn out to be good in the long run, there will always be people like me who desperately cling to the past because they were happy then, so why chance it with something fancy and different? Unfortunately though, I don't have all the answers. I'm still not over this fear, and while I'm happy to have recognized that change, for the most part, is a good thing, I can't help but worry how it will affect my life, cause sometimes I just want to be left alone watching Garfield for the 57th time. Funny thing is, this is the only idea out of dozens that I have written down on my video ideas doc that I never intended to make into an actual video. I just wrote it down during a particularly weak moment in an attempt to come to terms with my own struggles with change, but eventually I realized that making this whole video could be a better way to address it. But yeah, breaking out of my comfort zone and giving something new a shot is something I still need to work on doing more often, and I hope that maybe someone watching this video feels inspired to do the same. I'm sure it will always be scary, but at least I know what I'm going as for Halloween this year. Boo.